Minister for Education, Dr. Osei Educhum, and now could pim a plado mortuary. You shouldn't sooner or catch a gunner for the brace, and I must say, free just now by them. A year education system, a collapse, a number, and you know, no beer and that dam. Obi another no say education system enya dia ekoye education system no eya dia ekoye pa enkoye anka Bloomberg for enko rank na mka say Ghana for education e Africa hane eto so 2 with 48.2 BBB we intend no yentumi enka say Ghana education as so no education ni dia oti ase ye pa to bia no betuma ka say Ghana education ko from na say in ansem o culture ko.
So Kofi stood up and said, Mr. Vice President, Doc, MPP campaign analysts have been pleasantly surprised that free SHS has come almost back into the center. This will now be about the fourth election that free SHS has led, 2012, 16, 20. So everyone thought that it was old, but MPP are pleasantly surprised that this is back on the center. How do you feel about this, being the man in the saddle, the man in charge of it?
Good evening to you and viewing audience. Of course, it's refreshing to know that what we know in terms of what education does for people is widely recognized in the country. To some people, the idea that they can go to high school and don't have to pay for it, they can go to school, chop box and trunk, drop it off in the dormitory, go to the dining hall to eat without being asked anything. Have you paid your fees? For some people, the idea that they can go to school and when it's exams time, they are not being sent home. Their parents were used to a system where for those
they were expecting the child to come home.
Yes, I mean,
they knew that he was going to come.
Come home. You're going to be sent back home to go and collect your fees. And grandparents who saw their children go through that no longer ceases at home. When you go to my village, it's this miracle of the highest level. So I'm not surprised at all if you happen to be somebody who has dealt with, especially in the rural areas, work with families, and now you have a situation where they are not going begging. They are not going to the pastor to beg and say, can you help me? They are not going to the head of family to beg. They are not calling their family members abroad to see if their children can go to school. To us in the villages and towns, this is miracle at the highest level. Something that they never expected could happen in this country is happening. So I'm not surprised that Free Senior High School has become front and center of this great debate towards election December 7th.
Whilst it is free SHS is a big deal, the middle class are still not particularly satisfied. And they were not quite happy with President Akufo-Addo's comments the other day when he said that if you want to pay the school fees, go and pay in a private school. As for university girls, the government will pay. They are not too happy. They think that the standards of their grade school is being lowered. The standards of June Shekan, who, by the way, they have to be congratulated for winning the science quiz yesterday after 10 whole years. The standards of June Shekan, in fact, the standards of Adisadel, they think the standards of St. Peter's. They said that when I was in St. Peter's, we go to the dining hall, we are 50. Today, they are 6,000.
Standards.
Yeah, so that it doesn't reflect with the results. I was going to say that. It doesn't. The results show the standards are improving. But the well-being of the students is being discussed in the media every now and then. And the middle-class old students are altogether not really happy with the process.
I think you have to look at the education system in this country at this time. Mm-hmm. I'm fortunate because I came into this space with a full knowledge of how quality education systems run, how relevant education systems look like. So I come into this system, I see the gaps. And I'm saying to myself, thank God I'm the Minister for Education. How do we bridge the gaps? How do we make sure that when you talk about the middle class, these are the individuals who are paying for their children to go to kindergarten, for 6 years of primary, 3 years of junior high. You know, we have a 14-year pre-university education system or pre-tertiary education system. For some people, the first time they see
Education Minister Dr. said, Jumana or Church has said Eddie Ama Ghana for no. A measure passes some of our cancer, only a journal was watching to a big Jack Eddie Mammy. Our comment section and 7 or 2 hours, we can say.
Something, semblance of something free is at the high school. They've paid for 11 years of education.
And they said they can pay.
So the point of the matter is this. We happen to be one of the few countries where we don't hold government to account and say, I'm paying taxes. I deserve quality public schools. wherever they are. So the fact that we did not demand, the fact that we did not have visionary thinking in transforming public schools, and you paid for 11 years and you are saying I can pay. Yes, you can pay, but we need to create a more equitable society. There are some who can't. But whenever this question comes up with I can pay, I always ask people that, are you going to pay if your child is placed at my famous Ghanatube Primary Senior High School? For many people, when they say they can pay, they want to pay for pre-sec education.
That's what they were thinking.
Yes, but does that mean we should reserve 70% or 90% of quality pre-sec education to those who can pay? What kind of country are we creating? We should rather embark on an adventure where you open access, but you also improve quality. So when people talk about standards, infancy 2014, 2024, they are back, right? But Ketasco is also there.
Yes, they were there in the final.
They were there in the final.
It wasn't a story we could have told in 20 years ago.
20 years ago.
That's not possible.
No.
For a quiz for Keta and then Fanspin to come to final.
No.
And Keta is not their first time.
No. You see, it will have been
St. James.
You don't even talk about it. St. James now arguably the top performing school in this country.
Absolutely.
Of course, I know Presec is not going to agree with it. But you look at what is going on, emergence of new schools.
But that's what the policy seems to have done. I was discussing with my producer the other day when we were looking at the results, and new schools are picking up. And I've been looking at the data of the political parties for free SHS. There's a lady who did a video and said that when free SHS came, she believed it, but she didn't think that it included St. Louis and Opokuwari and Prempeh College. And apparently that was what many people were thinking. They thought free SHS is for low-level schools. They didn't think Achimota too is free SHS because they found themselves incapable of reaching Achimota by any standards.
Oh, yes.
So they didn't really believe that I can be placed in Achimota. So she said that when one of the children came, when I was placed in Achimota, they thought it was a lie.
Yeah.
Saying, now you, this village boy, you think that you've been placed. It's not true. Go back and go and check.
With
this, your aggregate 21, who will take you in Achimota?
And they come and they do so well.
I've heard that. And so it was explained to them that, yes, you got aggregate 21, but there's a system that is picking underprivileged people and putting them in Achimota. And you have to thank God that he was picked. And they were confused. They didn't know anybody. They just been picked into Achimota.
Quite a few of such stories.
And I'm sure that the pressure on you, I'm sure it's still there, on placement is going down because parents are also telling me that there's a school called Manfi Wesley Girls.
Yeah, Manfi Methodist Girls.
Now they call it Manfi Wesley Girls.
Of course, because
apparently they are doing super. And they say you took a headmistress from somewhere.
Wesley Girls, and she went there.
That's why they are doing so well.
Huntermine Girls got a Wesley Girls assistant principal. Now it's top tier school. So what we have seen is that it's about leadership. So the new schools that we are opening, we have mentors being given to them. For example, Bosomtwe Girls in my constituency is being mentored by Mrs. Jokoto, former assistant headmistress of Wesley Girls. In 5 years' time.
So in your view, this whole differences in school was about leadership?
Leadership is key.
I think you are right, because historically, all those schools have names. When you ask Wesley Girls people, they will say Mrs. Achampo. You ask Presec, they will say Mr. Piedu. You ask Accra Academy, they will say Konoa. And names of headmasters in Achimota or Mr. Siedu for many, many, many years.
They were there for a long time.
So it was more leadership driven than systems.
Leadership is key, and they build the systems. So now what we've done is this. We can reduce the stress on the high-performing schools by affiliating them with new schools. That is why we took assistant headmaster from Presec and sent him to Abomosu, and he's running Abomosu so well. And come to think of it, Abomosu has more science labs than Presec. Wow. So if you have a leader from Presec who understands the ecosystem that brings about high-performing school, and it's in a school where they even have better equipment and tools, then you're going to see a situation where that school is emerging, and then it's becoming one of the top-performing schools. Now you go in there when students want to go to a STEM school. So
Education Minister Dr. said Juma or church has said Eddie Ama Ghana for no a measure pass as someone can say only a journal was watching to a big Jack Eddie Mammy. Our comment section and 7 or 2 hours, where can I say?
So you begin to see that we are really lifting the bottom. There are some
it looks like that. It looks like the policy has lifted
schools,
a lot of low performing schools.
And now with the new courses being offered in high school, aviation and aerospace as a high school course, engineering is now being offered. Students
have you started?
Oh yes.
So those going to SS1,
yes, they're choosing.
They will be doing aviation.
Aviation, it depends upon the school that you
go to. Is it an elective?
Actually, you see, it's a 3-year course. It's an elective, but the good news is that it complements the science courses. So you still do your biology, chemistry, but you are doing aviation. Because now, what is happening to us is that in those doing science, and now they do STEM, you don't need to do integrated science. Because
yes, I've
been hearing that. Biology, chemistry, and physics, why do you go to a low-level science?
Why were we? I even understand that those doing extended maths don't do the regular maths anymore.
You see,
we were doing O-level, as science students, you do O-level maths and you do add maths. You do both.
They still do it this year because the university said they want to adjust. They want to adjust to the system.
So they haven't fully stopped yet?
No, they haven't fully stopped. But the whole idea for the sciences was that biology, chemistry, and physics, advanced level science. And then you go and do integrated science, which is a low-level science. So waste of time. So now they have a space, a pathway, where
to add some of those things like aviation and all that. Will they be examined in aviation?
Oh, yes. Biomedical sciences, engineering. These are all courses that have been done in high school. And manufacturing.
So what kind of engineering will you be teaching? General engineering? Because you have several.
Yeah, they have general engineering. And this course was created with university professors in engineering. They met with NACA and then they put the courses together. So what is happening in our education space is that we are really making teaching and learning relevant to the 21st century needs of Ghana. Coding and robotics are being offered now. So if you look at the courses that we're doing, it's very different from the courses that were being offered in this country for many years. But you see,
so the policy is raising schools and merging the standards. But somebody asked me when I told the person this, that does it mean that you are raising Hantaman girls and bringing down Wesley girls so they meet in the middle?
No.
Is Wesley girls still going up?
Wesley girls got 6 science labs from the government. The president went to commission it. But Hantama also has 6 science labs.
Which is a story that could not have been 30 years ago.
Yes.
Because it's the old students who were providing, not government.
Not government. In fact, to Wesley girls, the credit of the old girls, they also rehabilitated their old science lab. But the government went in and built 6 science labs at a go. You go to Kumasi American School, 6 science labs at a go. Presec, we gave you 3. A number of schools across the country, we are building new science labs. But we're also building engineering labs.
What's an engineering lab?
So let's go to STEM labs. If you go to Accra High School, they have a beautiful STEM lab, fully equipped with even 3D printers. I was expecting that they can show it here.
Yeah, they'll look for it and put it down.
So if you look at what is happening there, you enter the STEM center and you can do coding, you can do robotics. So the high school students can offer course in robotics, and then the neighborhood children also come there to practice their hands-on coding.
Those who may not be students of the school?
No, because we're trying to create a pipeline. So junior high schools, primary schools around Accra High come there as scheduled.
Oh, they're allowed?
Yes, they're allowed to come in, and they are able to also do coding at their level.
So Accra High SSS, so Morning Star JSS can have their JSS 3 students go to the lab to look at it?
Yes, they can go there. So, but we are not also just restricting this to the junior junior high schools affiliated or close to high schools. We're also building model STEM junior high schools.
Oh, junior high. You're bringing STEM to junior high?
Yes. So the model
can you identify
STEM,
talents at that age, 12, 13?
That brings me to gifted and talented education. Talent can be identified at an early age. So at the end of the day, if you look at Jabin, STEM high school, junior high school, it's a model junior high school that has everything that you can find in a high school. They have biology, chemistry, physics lab, and then a STEM lab.
And they're junior high school?
Junior high school. So, you see, you have to lift up the middle.
When you get the photographs, then you start putting them on. Please go on.
You see, the thing is this. The bill at Parliament about free secondary education, one of the essential aspects of that is the upgrading of junior high schools. Because, you see, the interesting thing for this country is that we used to have 7 years of secondary, O&A level.
Yes.
Then somehow we jettisoned 4 years out of it. We took away 4 years.
No, we took 1 year.
No, 4.
Is it not 7 to 6?
No.
How?
7 to 3. How? Because the Pre-Tertiary Education Act says identify education in Ghana as 2 years of kindergarten, 6 years of primary, 3 years of junior high, and it's all basic. Secondary.
Oh, junior high is added to basic?
Yes. Has always been.
When the old system, the junior high was part of the
secondary.
Okay. Yeah.
So it has always been. So that is the reason why junior high school buildings can be dilapidated and nobody cares. Because it's not seen as part of secondary. So the free secondary education bill is looking at upgrading junior high schools so that it will be part of secondary, effectively giving us 6 years of secondary education.
Wow.
So this is Accra High. And when you go there, you have the STEM lab there. You have
this is Accra High on the screen now.
Yes. So you see the...
This is the robotics?
Yeah. And then high school students are working, but junior high school students also go there. Primary school students also go there. And it's fascinating to see us creating an ecosystem. In fact, we are now going to launch. Tomorrow we are launching BSTEM, Basic STEM program. And
that's for GSS?
Yeah, GSS. And it's going to be very fascinating what happens at that level. But if you look at the facilities that are coming up for junior high schools, I've always said that public schools have been seen as, can be defined as rectangular shaped buildings painted brown and yellow.
Brown and yellow, yes.
Where the students wear brown and yellow uniforms as if to match the color of the school. And this has been the norm. And we call them junior high schools. But the law is saying that they are part of basic, and we've left them.
So the amendments you have in Parliament is going to call them secondary?
It will make junior high school, which is high school, recognized legally as high school. And therefore, we will be required to equip them with the necessary infrastructure, necessary facilities. So let's take a look at how public schools look like for the most part across the length and breadth of this country.
Please, let's have it. Let's see it.
It's a rectangular shaped building painted brown and yellow. And where the students, as I always say, wear brown and yellow uniform. This is what you see.
Yeah, this is it.
Yeah, across the country. This is it.
So you are changing this?
So a number of schools have been changed already. So let's move on to the new infrastructure for junior high schools.
Now, this new infrastructure you are presenting is going to be the standard for all junior high schools?
Junior high schools. There are 2 of them.
It's going to come soon. Yes, this one.
Yeah. This is your new junior high school.
Every junior high school is going to look like this.
Towns with about 7 junior high schools. You build one of these, you move all the junior high schools there, and they have libraries.
Yes, that policy. So you're not going to have junior high schools lit.
And for NAT for a Minister for Education and now Wakasa area and Mestre said, as someone can and there was what doing your family, and the mammy, our competition, ha, Ghanatube, Macron.